Alright, time for another draftphysics.com, debatephysics.com also, but yeah, can't really find any rational debate. And in the irrational, just such fake, phony, criminal, crooked shenanigans, Stephen Brozo. Just so bad. This video is so bad. So he's desperate to pick at the Mythbusters video. And clearly desperate. And he complains that people find some little problem with his experiments here or there where he's missed some detail. And he finds it highly offensive that anybody would critique his experiments and find them lacking. And yet we see the desperate lengths he goes to falsify, frankly, just to make a fake and phony argument that cannot be. It just can't, you can't even watch. There's no way you could watch the Mythbusters video and have this impression. It's just such a lie. So I'll play the second half of this bizarre video, frankly. So he says Mythbusters error reply. So he hasn't proven any error. He hasn't even in anything beyond proving a typo. Where they measured from the top 49 instead of measuring from the left 41 degrees. So he hasn't proven that it changed the experiment at all. That they somehow didn't have a mechanism that was going twice the velocity, one velocity, and then they did the same experiment at twice the velocity. He has no evidence that didn't take place. No proof. Nothing you could convict with. Alright, just a story he's telling. And frankly, the story is now just an overt fib. Alright, so I don't know, like I said, this is titled Bizarre. Alright, so first off, this idea that there's an error, he hasn't demonstrated. I don't know who this guy is he's talking to, but he calls him a mega low brain. And then he says, and FAO, John Walker, the free energy nut, he thinks chili peppers are magnetic. And Michael Falwell, who, is just as fat as he is stupid. Alright, so let's see if there's anything in here. No, he just repeats the title and the description, so that's a change of pace for the yammerer. Alright, so let's just play some of these lies, and I'll show rather convincing evidence that they're lies.
Up with the 90-degree mark to that zero line there, that's 90 degrees, isn't it?
Right, that's I pointed out in my previous video, so clearly he didn't watch that, but I clearly pointed out that the middle line has nothing to do with it. The real line is the vertical line and the horizontal line of the bar. That's where you have to count the degrees, and that's exactly what they did, in the sense that that's their bar doesn't go past 90 in either side. The bar does go 90, goes in a straight line and a straight line across. So they start at the 2x position is at 90 degrees. No doubt about it. And it swings a full 90 degrees. It was Brozo's video with his silly little dents in the clay where he went above 90 degrees. He went above the bar, and I pointed that out in the video. So again, maybe he doesn't watch my videos. Okay, that's possible. Maybe just his audience does. But clearly his audience should know. Yeah, I did point all of that out. Okay.
Discounting their yellow center line that you claim, and you're probably right, is,
Alright, here, I'm going to just show an image that I manufactured from two stills, and it clears a lot up. Alright, so here's an image I made out of two images. So when they're at their standing position before the collision. So clearly you can see these are the bars. No, you can't see that. Alright, right here. Okay. What happened? Where the fuck's the arrow? Oh, okay, this image is got to be lowered. Sorry. Technical details. It's, tricky business. Alright, whoops, I still got the wrong one. Alright, this should be it. Alright, so right here you can see the bar. So the yellow line is here, but you can't see it. Okay, and obviously that's where the two hammers actually hit each other. But they pivot on this bar. And this is obviously a nice square. So obviously it's got the proper degrees in it. Alright, and so you can just look at it and you can say, oh shit, that looks awful close to 45 degrees. And it is awful close. Okay, so when I measured it, it came out about 43 degrees. Alright, so yeah, and you can understand the perspective camera angle is shortening this distance and lengthening this distance. So obviously if you account for the camera angle, you're at 41 degrees. 41 from here to here. 49 from here to up here. You got to understand, this is only one of the bars. There's two bars. See, two bars, one bar here, one bar here. This swings in between those two bars. This hammer swings all the way up to this guy's head. So let me put the head back in there. See his head? Yeah. The bar, this swings all the way up here to go parallel. All the way up here right to his face. So understand, that's the true distance. So it is substantially higher. Alright, so I mean, I think it's a pretty convincing piece of evidence. These angles look awful close to 45 degree angle there. Like I said, I measured it out at 43 by measuring the distances. And it came out to be about 43 degrees. So clearly closer to 41 than 49. And, you know, and they do in fact line the bar up dead parallel with this structure. It's perfectly horizontal here and perfectly vertical here at when it hits. So there's no doubt about swinging too far here or any of that crap. It's a clear 90-degree angle. Okay, no doubt about the fact that they're within the 90-degree swing, total swing range. So it's just a lie to imply something else was possible. It's not possible. You're full of shit. Okay. I should also point out, he's doing this with tin cans. He thinks they use tin cans. I have another picture I'll show. They're solid steel, machined steel cylinders. Solid, maybe solid aluminum, but they're solid metal. They're not cans. Alright. So anyway, I think anybody could surmise that. You know, but Brozo didn't. He thinks they use tin cans. That's how much he pays attention. He just doesn't. Alright, so I'll reduce this and just keep it around. Alright. And so we'll continue.
Extraction, and that really is the axis point. But in that case, when they lined that up with 90 degrees, they should have lined that up also with 41 degrees.
They did. Turns out.
They'd mark with 49 degrees.
It's 49 degrees from parallel, so it's a perfectly sensible way of marking it. Again, you're marking it for height. That's the whole point here, is to mark it for height, 1/4 of the distance. So yes, when you're thinking about height, you would measure from the top down, but you're thinking about altitude. So you're not thinking so much about going horizontal. You're thinking about the vertical difference in the distance. So it's not terribly irrational for them to go 49 degrees from the top.
For some strange reason.
It's not all that strange. It occurred to me immediately.
Why would they measure 49 degrees?
Because it's a height. That's why they would.
That's a yellow. From that point to there. Who in their right mind does that? You know, not even school.
So again, this is this is a guy who can't take any criticism, and he's sitting there second guessing why. They didn't talk about the degrees in the video. They didn't tell us really how they exactly established that it was twice the speed. But regardless, it's not irrational to understand that it's 49 degrees off the 90-degree angle.
School kids do that, do they? So I don't think they really did that. I think they actually did measure 49 degrees and put the front face of the hammer there.
Yeah, so he thinks that although no image would justify these angles, there's no image from the video that would give anybody the impression that it's, 15 degrees this way and 10 degrees up this way, or inches. Nothing to give you the indication that the bar is anywhere way off of 45 degrees. In all the images, it looks pretty close to something around 45 degrees. So again, it's just an insipid lie to say he can defend that any of the images give the indication that they did this, what he's saying. And now it's going to make it worse.
So that was actually dropping from whatever that is. That was actually dropping from more like 60 degrees of it.
Right, isn't that so? Just a preposterous pile of mush he's making up. Continuing.
I think they really had dropped it from 49 degrees.
All right, so it's bad enough he's accusing them of doing it from 49 degrees, the wrong distance, and then on top of that he's adding on and saying, look, they made even more mistakes and they're way off. Because he's trying to make it fit kinetic energy. Now, if this isn't just forcing the evidence to match his theory, right? I mean, he's just so showing he has no credibility. He doesn't care about the truth. He's forcing this so desperately. And yet he won't accept, Professor Lewin's obvious flaws in his experiment, the obvious, grotesque, suspicious clay blobs. No, that's not a problem at all. Yeah, amazing. Hypocrisy and duplicity. Just frickin' amazing that he gets away with this crap. That he actually has an audience that appreciates him distorting and perverting and lying like this.
It was completely the wrong height. It gets worse, doesn't it? If they really had dropped it from 49 degrees, that was another 8 degrees higher or whatever.
Right, so there's no evidence that they made this mistake of measuring from the tip of the can, because obviously at the top you can see when they do the 2x crash, you can see it's perfectly horizontal. This bar is perfectly horizontal and the can sticks down here. So clearly they didn't make that mistake. Clearly, they didn't measure from the tip of the can. They didn't do any measuring from the tip of the can, or they wouldn't have the tip of the can down here at 80 degrees. So, again, this is just lying.
Something like that. It's now, 49 add 8? That'd be 57 degrees then, wouldn't it? So they'd be dropping from 57 degrees then, wouldn't they?
So again, the image speaks for itself. It's nowhere, like I said, it's not even close to 49 technically. I mean, it's closer to 45 than it is 49. No doubt about it. And again, my measurement says 43. And that's on an image that's distorted. So clearly it's probably 41 because all the distortions are going to make it look like something more than 45 degrees.
Because we're supposed to measure from this bar. Although in fairness...
Yeah, that's what I said in my video already, 2 videos ago. And I already pointed out how you were the one, when you did your clay experiment with your little stupid ball attached to this stick, you were the one who went above 90 degrees. Morion. I mean, do I have to really play your video? I mean, you're the one who put the bar above 90 degrees. And then talked about what degrees you were dropping things from when you had the wrong degrees, moron, because you were dropping it from 110 degrees, 100 degrees instead of 90. Morion.
That would have also been 8 degrees higher. That would have been 98 degrees, not 90 degrees. So that was 98 degrees.
So again, they didn't do that, so that's just lying. There's no video that shows the can above the line. So he has zero evidence they did that, so it's just a lie. And I've already shown the video of it being perfectly horizontal.
That was 57 degrees, if they really did use 49 degrees. Or at best, it was 49 degrees, if they really did use 41 degrees, but mark it as 49 degrees. And that should have been their end. That should have been their end point.
Why would that be their end point if they were perfectly horizontal here? Oh, that's right, it wouldn't be. And it's not in their videos. Why would it be the end point when they have a perfectly vertical bar? Oh, that's right, it wouldn't be.
Should have been their collision point. There. The front face of the hammer should have collided there. But it didn't. It collided 8 degrees further. It's just ridiculous. The whole thing is a mess.
No, you're a mess and a liar, okay? None of this shit you say happened. Okay, the experiment is quite credible, and you're just making up a whole big fable because of this number 49 that they don't even mention in the video. And you're writing the fable, and that's it. You're just telling a story, and a convenient one. You don't care about the truth.
They obviously didn't drop it from the right height.
Okay, you don't have any evidence. And I think there is substantial, like I said, the more somebody picks at it. Did you do any frame rates at all? Did you make any effort at all to see what the velocities were? No. So it's just all talk. But again, you can just look at it. This isn't anywhere near 60 degrees. 60 degrees is up here. It's nowhere near 60 degrees. Again, somebody could make a fair argument that, boy, that sure looks like 45. But it's not. It's a little closer to this distance is a little shorter than this distance. It's a little shorter than the other distance. It means it has to be 41 degrees. Something less than 45. Fact. Yeah, such a liar. Alright, get rid of that. Finish this up.
That's why they got their clay compressions wrong.
See? So they didn't get them wrong, and they were perfectly consistent with their car crushing experiment also. So it all came out quite the same. Quite consistent with Isaac Newton, Descartes, and Galileo's understanding of how the mechanical universe works. Alright, so I guess since I have the image, I might as well show it to you just to prove they're not tin cans. Alright, so there's the image of the bar being welded before it was cut. Well, I guess, I think that's before it was actually cut. So he's welding the bars together. So these are the devices that the clay is being pushed into. Pretty solid, anyway. Not tin cans. Anyway, so enough said, I believe. Yeah. All right. So just another horrible pile of crap by Brozo. Just terrible nonsense. See if there's any. I'll just see if there's. Look, 4 thumbs up for just a complete lie video. Just desperate lying. They did drop it 90 degrees. Let's see. It's the front of the clay cylinder that should be flush with the angle, and that's what the Mythbusters did. I made a video making clear that's the case. Okay, so he's made a video. He wasn't too realistic the last time he did his protractor thing, but I'll go look. I'm feeling slightly more human to... Oh, who cares? Let's see. The more analysis done, the Mythbusters experiment only leads to the conclusion that it... So this is their desperation. Was very crudely done with a whole host of flaws involved. The reason why they think it's flawed is because it clearly doesn't show kinetic energy exists at all. I mean, just no evidence of it at all. So... Logic only zone. More science, yeah, baby. So it's science just to tell overt, easily to prove lies. That's good science. Go ahead, tell some easy to prove to be lies. I mean, it really isn't that hard to prove that it was nowhere near 60 degrees. Okay, so anyway. Let's see. It seems to me that despite the particular episode of Mythbusters being entirely about them admitting they made a mistake. No, the only mistake is in the show, what they did the show about, which was proving that if you're in between two 50-mile-an-hour cars crashing into each other, that somehow it's only a 50-mile-an-hour crash for you. When obviously, no, for you it's a 100-mile-an-hour crash. It's just so bad. And trying to rectify it. You know, the claim about equivalence of 100 mile per hour into a wall versus two 50-mile collisions. So isn't that funny? I guess he thinks that it's true too. He actually thinks that if you're in between two 50-mile-an-hour cars that crash, that somehow you're only going to feel it as if it was one 50-mile-an-hour crash. When of course you're going to feel it as a 100-mile-an-hour crash, quite obviously. Despite them being able to admit their flaws, whatever their fans seem unable to admit they were only human. Well, look at all this baby talk. And this was only a TV show for general entertainment. So, I mean, obviously these shows, Junkyard Wars, all of these shows were more than just entertainment in the standard, vernacular. There was a lot of pretty good science in these videos. It wasn't an academic work. So here he is defending academic work. Where have you paid any attention to academic work? You can't pay attention to a video that's more than 10 minutes long. You can't watch Professor Lewin videos. You pathetic idiot. You get bored and distracted. You can't handle it. You can't handle academic science. Oh, pathetic. It was pure entertainment. So again, more bullshit. Which is why they keep banging on about let's get the mayhem. It's too bad that they have to, catch things on fire and burn things. That is unfortunate. That it has to be stunt work. That's a sad fact. But it doesn't change the fact that there's still good science in the videos. Oh, it's just so bad. All right, no more. Enough of this. God, he's such a fucking piece of shit. What a garbage human being. To pretend, that he has somehow debunked the video. Oh, let's see what the fucking Farley says. The clay thing is a red herring, since they never claim to make a precise measurement of the clay compression. What the fuck are you talking about? They used a micrometer. They only meant to show that the compression is different. What the fuck? That's, too strange. I mean, that's just too bizarre. He sat right there and said the number 777 and said, almost exactly twice. I don't know. How do people say this shit? Oh, these people are so dishonest. As for the cars, the mistake they made was to have only one crumple zone in the... Yeah, duh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. They have two clumps of clay in the 50-car crash, right? Doesn't make any sense. It's like having two springs. Of course, half the compression's in one spring, half the compression's in the other spring. If they would have used one spring between the two 50s, they would have got the same compression. Duh. So obvious. Of course, a point I've already made 2 weeks ago, shithead. So fuck this. Oh, God, I hate this planet. Man, people are just such pieces of scummy, lying crap. Alright, so till the next time, this has been a draftphysics.com, debatephysics.com also. But man, what's there to debate? How low, how desperately low will the liars and thieves go? Is that the only thing to debate? How big a crook are you?